we did an activism event. We get arrested straight away. All right, we get arrested straight away. Why aren't they arrested for abusing animals? We get arrested for creating awareness, doing protests and things like that. They don't get arrested for literally torturing animals. People. Thank you, everyone. Very good turnout. Thank you for being here, everyone. Wow, really good. Should be shut down already, shouldn't it?
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you for everything you've done. For everything.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you too. Hello. Oh, beautiful. Oh dear. What do you have to do to shut a slaughterhouse down? They should be arrested. They should have arrested. Where's the police? The police should have arrested them straight away. What kind of criminal cruelty do you have to commit to get arrested these days? Shocking, really. If you hurt a dog, they would arrest you first, and then you get charged. Like when we did the gas chamber activism, they arrested us first. And then they charge us, and then they investigate and go to trial and all those things. So if we have the investigation, they've caught them on camera, they should have been walked away in handcuffs. Are they working today?
Yeah, no, they're all in there.
The gate's working. Joey,
Hey.
we estimate they've had 600 sheep delivered in the last 24 hours.
600 already.
We went past the line last night. There were 2 deliveries yesterday and 1 this morning.
There were dead sheep in the lairage. We didn't put it in the piece. There were sheep that had died in the lairage. And when I've got it on camera.
It had fallen stopped last night at 7:30. We've got it on video. We'd got it on video that there were dead animals being tipped into collection bins.
Yep.
And the FSA, in their wisdom, told us that it is to be expected in the industry. Now, those animals probably died at the hands of the abusers in there.
Oh, they probably suffered and died in the lairage, yeah. They were already sick. So they shouldn't be killing sick animals anyway.
No.
The owner put a sick and injured animal in the conveyor. I think he broke the law by doing that. I don't agree with the laws anyway, but whatever that you can get them on is...
The law stinks. That place needs to close. It's got to close. It's got to close.
I'm from BBC. Do you mind if we go a quick word?
Yeah, of course.
Jerry, tell me about your involvement here. How did it first come to light that something was happening here?
I was tipped off by one of the leaders of the group here, and Carolyn, yeah, she actually emailed me and told me that there was serious welfare concerns here. So that evening, I come straight down here and we had a look. Sussed the place out a bit. I'm mostly concerned about what's going on to the animals, so took the tip off seriously and initiated the investigation.
Tell us what you found and where that footage came from.
The footage came from Covert cameras. We left around 5 Covert cameras at different stages of the slaughter process in the lairage, where the sheep are put onto a V-type restrainer conveyor that drags them into the kill floor. On the kill floor itself, in 2 areas where they're initiating the cut and where the sheep are being shackled. What we found was criminal animal abuse. There was extreme rough handling, taking sheep to the kill floor. They were throwing sheep on the floor and just attacking the sheep and just being extremely rough and careless with the sheep. One of the most horrifying parts of this investigation was the number of sheep that were fully conscious whilst being dismembered. So they would be slashed across their throat without being stunned, and there were multiple extremely likely signs that these sheep were still fully conscious when being shackled and having their tails cut off and their legs cut off and being skinned, and they were moving still, and sometimes they were still moving for up to 4 minutes. You're not even allowed to start beginning to dismember sheep while they're still alive, let alone still conscious. Dismembered whilst 1, alive, and 2, extremely likely they were conscious. Shocking, just shocking.
And what did you do with that footage? Who did you present it to?
First of all, we push for accountability, public accountability. So we go to the media first because we have been disheartened by enforcement agencies, RSPCA, FSA. We give it to them, things get brushed under the carpet, there's no accountability. So we push to make the strongest case we can. We get public outrage. We went to the media first, because I know, based on historical fact, that unless there's public accountability, then they like to sweep things under the carpet. We've seen it too many times.
Why do you think no action's been taken to the satisfactory solution that the residents and people like yourself want then?
What happens when you assault a person is you get taken away in handcuffs and you get charged. None of these got taken away in handcuffs. We've got them on camera, criminal abuse taking place in here. Why aren't they being arrested? You know?
In terms of everything that you have done in your career, how shocking was this? Where does this rank?
Look, we do shocking investigations all the time, and every single investigation we conduct, we uncover criminal animal cruelty. They're breaching the welfare laws in this country every single time without fail. Was this shocking? Yes, it was extremely shocking. How does it rank? I mean, in this country, the majority of pigs are non-stun slaughtered in CO2 gas, and they scream and struggle and defecate all over themselves in CO2 and burn from the inside out. It's a horrible, horrible thing to watch. This happens across the board, so my shock factor is not the same as everyone else. I'm quite desensitized, but you know, this one here, I'm actually more shocked that these people weren't taken out in handcuffs because of the amount of criminality we exposed. And they're suspending people, they should be in handcuffs, arrested, charged with criminal animal cruelty, and be going to court, just like anyone else who commits an offence. Why isn't this taking place? And this is an example that's being highlighted, yes. This happens all the time. This happens all the time. Why aren't they being arrested, and why aren't the government enforcement agencies taking more action other than just suspending people? They suspend people for criminal abuse. The police should be in there arresting them, really. And it's because these are farmed animals, and you know, the laws are there on paper, the Animal Welfare Act 2006, but they're not being enforced when these laws are being broken, and that's the problem. But like, so I don't really care for the laws here. I think the laws are unjust. But bare minimum, enforce the laws. Why do you have them? They're a joke. They're a joke.
The residents here are calling for this slaughterhouse to be shut down completely. Is that something that you would support?
Of course, I support shutting them down. I support them all being prosecuted, because any kind of pressure to animal abusers is necessary. There needs to be accountability. If there's no accountability and it's just a slap on the wrist and I lost my job here, I'll get a job somewhere else. You know, how are animals ever going to be protected if we don't at least prosecute animal welfare violations like this, or shut places like this down? But this particular case here, the government should enforce the laws, and they should be completely shut down and never be able to work with animals again. None of them, not the owner and not any of their staff, and not the FSA officer that was in here watching animals flailing about fully conscious and not doing an eye check or going there to emergency stun the animal. I think they're all incompetent. They all need to be fired, arrested, and this place needs to be completely shut down. But I would say the same for all slaughterhouses. There's never been a slaughterhouse we haven't been shocked about, but I don't want any slaughterhouses to exist. That's my, like, straight up, I don't want any animals to be slaughtered. But at the very least, enforce the laws in this country, or people are just going to get away scot-free continuously across the board. I think, well, my personal view is that I think all slaughterhouses should not exist, because you cannot have mass killing of animals and there just not be this horrific stuff happening. I don't think animals deserve to be killed at all.
What are you calling for from the government then, and the authorities who are responsible for licensing premises like this then? Because they need to exist. People, you know, not everyone's a vegan or vegetarian.
Of course.
People do eat meat. So.
They do eat meat, and they do eat meat, and what I would... Whether I agree with that or not, I think the government at bare minimum should be enforcing the laws in this country. The Animal Welfare Act 2006, the WATOC guidelines, welfare at the time of killing, they should be enforced. Why do we, activists with a small budget, have to jump a fence to stick little cameras in to bust people when there's supposed to be FSA cameras running, right? Why aren't they? There was an FSA officer 50% of the time when we filmed on site, doing nothing. Appeared to be doing nothing to help to stop the suffering of the animals. No eye checks. She wasn't on the kill floor checking to see if they were still conscious. Why not? This is not our job, right? We're activists. We don't have huge budgets and organisations. The government at bare minimum should be enforcing the laws in this country and arresting them and prosecuting them and shutting it down. Shut it down, ask questions later. Why does it take activists to expose criminal animal cruelty when the FSA are in there? They're in there. We filmed them in there. Okay, they've got cameras on the kill floor. that they are supposed to review? Why does it take us to expose that, right? And then to hold the enforcement bodies accountable for prosecuting? They won't, like, without, so was this going to continue ad infinitum until we went in there with hardly any budget, with a couple of activists and some small cameras to do their job for them? This should be embarrassing to them. Why aren't they arresting these people? And now they know it's happened. We've sent them the footage and no one's in handcuffs. Why not? We did an activism event. We get arrested straight away. All right, we get arrested straight away. Why aren't they arrested for abusing animals? We get arrested for creating awareness, doing protests and things like that. They don't get arrested for literally torturing animals.
What do you think about the turnout here today?
I think it's amazing. I think it's great. I think it's good. I love all people coming together to fight a common, cause. And I would love everyone to not eat animals. And I just think it's great to have full public support for something like this. And I hope it creates further awareness and there can be further change from this. I don't think this is just one bad apple. And we investigate places all the time. We see this all the time. And it's not just halal places, it's all places that this stuff happens. And I know that for a fact. Every single investigation we do, we uncover criminal animal abuse, and they're just horrible, shocking places for animals. And we're supposed to live in a civilized society. So I don't think this is a bad apple. We see it across the board. So I see people just vilifying this place alone, or the fact that it's a halal slaughterhouse, and I just don't agree with that because I've seen way too much. And these are not bad apples. This is a systemic issue. So yeah, shut it down completely. I just love the community support for this, and I hope that we can extrapolate that across industry and see real change. Have you seen Pignorant? Have you seen Pignorant? No. It's on Amazon Prime.
Is that yours?
Yeah. I recommend just have a watch one day.
I will.
Pignorant film. It's a first
psych myself up.
UK's first ever gas chamber investigation.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Is gas chamber meant to be more sort of humane?
They say it is, but the CO2 gas itself is torturous. So that's what I was saying. Like, people saying this is a non-stun halal slaughter. Yeah, it's horrifying, right? Horrifying. Pigs are non-stun slaughtered, but they're tortured before they are rendered unconscious in the gas. So it just happens across the board. So I see a lot of British bacon eaters going, "Oh, this place is halal. Shut all the halal places down." I'm like, you're just eating a bacon sandwich, criticising this place. Like, be against it all, So I just seen a lot of racism coming up about it, and I did not like it, and it pissed me right off, So, but yeah.
That's the one thing I think we do have to get across in this piece, is that it's nothing to do with race or religion.
At the end of the day, Muslims are being lied to here, and that's what we want to try to get across.
Yeah.
So I'm reaching out to a lot of the Muslim community and say, look, that you're being lied to just the same as everyone else is about the labelling and about what's humane and not humane, we got a lot of gratitude from Muslims saying thank you for raising the issue. So it's about outreaching to all walks of life here. That's what, we don't discriminate. We want everyone to get the message, but it's a tough one, sure.
Joey, thanks so much, mate.
Thanks, Pablo. Appreciate it.
See ya.
Oh, of course. No worries. Oh, bless you. No worries.
So much. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart.
Oh, bless you. No, of course. My work is for the animals, so and I always will be. So whether or not you hate me or love me, I just will do it for the sheep in there. So that's why we come here.
That's all we want.
Yeah, but I really appreciate the gratitude as well. But if you all hated me, we would still be going in there for the sheep. You know what I mean? Which I do have a lot of people that don't love me and don't want to hug me. They want to hug me with a chair in the head. Yeah, so let's see what happens, eh?
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. There's nothing more kicking and screaming will do other than just pushing for accountability. Absolutely. I think the awareness is sufficiently raised now. Well, it's like crazy, awareness from this, and I just think if we don't push them to do something, the government, the problem for them is that every investigation they will have to act, because we always.
That's the thing. If they set a precedent, it'd be like every single minute.
If they had to enforce every animal welfare law that was broken, they would have
every single day.
Prosecutions coming out their arse.
Yeah.
The Food Standards Agency aren't going to act for this. How can we trust any food that's in our supermarket?
Well, you can't. Now, my argument is you can't. You should watch this documentary. Have you seen this documentary?
How you didn't kill yourself.
Check it out on Prime.
I haven't seen
that's my exact argument. What's happening here is what we've been sounding the alarm on. It happens everywhere.
Food that you're buying every day in
The
your
problem is when you
supermarkets, how would you
You
trust
can't.
it?
You're on, what you're saying right now is you're on the money right now. Where you're going right now, where your mind is going, is where it should be going, because that's what we've been trying to tell people. They all do it. I promise you that.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
Take care.
See you, everyone.